Drama unfolds, senators collapse, and Carney's frustrating answer rock Parliament. Canada's political scene has been charged with tension and drama lately, as a series of events have exposed cracks in the system and stirred public debate. From explosive allegations in British Columbia's elections to high-profile moments in Ottawa's Senate, the atmosphere is anything but calm. This moment in Canadian politics reveals deep divisions and urgent challenges that demand attention. In British Columbia, the recent elections have been clouded by serious allegations of misconduct. Accusations that an election presiding officer distributed ballots in bulk during the vote have caused an uproar, despite denials from the official involved. These claims touch on a larger fear of electoral manipulation, especially in vulnerable communities. John Rustad, leader of the BC Conservatives, has brought forward affidavits suggesting that mail-in ballots may have been improperly collected or submitted on behalf of seniors who may not have been fully capable of voting. This raises disturbing questions about the protection of seniors' rights and the integrity of the electoral process, fueling calls for a thorough investigation and reforms to safeguard democracy. At the heart of the political storm is the ongoing pipeline conflict between Alberta and British Columbia. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith has announced progress in securing private sector investment to build a pipeline from Alberta to Prince Rupert, hoping to bypass political obstacles by leveraging oil companies' funding. Meanwhile, BC Premier David Eby has repeatedly dodged direct questions about his support for this initiative, sparking suspicion and frustration among energy proponents. Critics accuse Eby of obstructing projects that would benefit Canadian energy and the economy, pointing to his history of opposing major resource developments, including the cancellation of Northern Gateway and Grassy Point LNG. This clash highlights not only a political rivalry, but also the broader struggle over Canada's economic future and resource sovereignty. Polling numbers further complicate the landscape, reflecting the shifting political winds across the country. A recent Abacus data poll shows the Liberals leading with 42%, closely followed by Conservatives at 39%, indicating a tight federal race. Meanwhile, Main Street Research reports growing Conservative strength in British Columbia, with the party leading the NDP at 44% to 41%. Main Street's strong track record in predicting election outcomes lends credibility to these numbers, suggesting the Conservatives may be gaining momentum, especially in regions critical to national politics. The drama escalated in Ottawa when Senator Patrick Brazeau fainted during a speech, a startling incident that captured national attention. Though he quickly recovered, the event added to the perception of instability and unpredictability in Parliament. At the same time, Senator Leo Hasakos publicly challenged the government on why Samadown, a group officially designated as a terrorist organization, continues to hold non-profit status in Canada. The government's response, which placed responsibility on the Canada Revenue Agency and avoided direct accountability, was met with harsh criticism. Many observers saw this as political evasion and a failure to act decisively on matters of national security. Beyond these specific flashpoints, critics of the Liberal government have pointed to a range of policies they believe have eroded Canada's social fabric and economic well-being. Concerns include expanding online censorship, aggressive immigration policies, punitive carbon taxes, and perceived softness on crime, particularly regarding bail laws. Foreign aid spending and mass immigration top the list of issues seen as worsening affordability and straining public services. The government's stance on charitable organizations has also raised eyebrows, especially as churches face threats of losing charitable status, while some groups linked to radical activism remain untouched. This perceived double standard fuels frustration among citizens feeling left behind. Despite the weighty issues, moments of levity offer a stark contrast to the seriousness of the political environment. A viral video of two black bears playfully wrestling has become a humorous symbol for political dysfunction. Commentators joke that the bears have likely been more productive in a few minutes than the government has been in years, underscoring widespread dissatisfaction with current leadership. Under Trudeau and now Mark Carney, many Canadians feel the country is adrift, lacking clear direction or effective governance. Carney's leadership style marks a shift from Trudeau's flamboyant and often chaotic approach to a more measured, controlled manner. However, Carney's responses in Parliament, particularly regarding contentious issues like the pipeline debate and national security, have frustrated many for their vagueness and lack of concrete solutions. Canadians seeking accountability and transparency find themselves met with cautious rhetoric and political maneuvering, deepening cynicism about the government's ability to lead decisively. The pipeline dispute between Alberta and B.C. is emblematic of broader regional tensions in Canada. Premier Smith's effort to secure private financing reflects a practical response to political roadblocks, emphasizing economic growth and resource development as vital to Alberta's future. In contrast, Premier Eby's resistance reflects concerns over environmental protection and political priorities that some see as short-sighted or obstructive. This conflict goes beyond infrastructure. It represents competing visions for the country's development and identity. Questions about election integrity resonate beyond B.C., raising alarms about Canada's democratic health nationwide. Allegations of improper handling of mail-in ballots, especially in vulnerable populations like seniors, spotlight the fragility of the electoral process. Political leaders calling for transparency and reform highlight the need for stronger safeguards to ensure every Canadian's vote is protected and counted fairly. Ottawa's political theater, from Brazeau's collapse to debates over terrorist organizations' non-profit status, illustrates a government struggling with its own contradictions. Critics argue that rather than confronting these challenges head-on, the government opts for bureaucratic deflection, undermining public trust and accountability. This approach fuels a growing divide between citizens and those in power, eroding confidence in institutions. As Canadians look to upcoming elections, these dramas remind voters that the stakes are high. With Liberals and Conservatives neck and neck in the polls, the country faces crucial choices about leadership, governance, and direction. Issues like energy policy, democratic integrity, and social cohesion will dominate the political agenda, demanding clear-eyed engagement from citizens and leaders alike. This turbulent political moment calls on Canadians to stay informed, remain vigilant, and hold elected officials accountable. The country's future depends on active participation and a collective demand for honest, effective governance. Whether these challenges lead to renewal or deepen divisions will shape the path ahead for Canada and its people.